Did you know your agent can actually reach into the cookie jar and start spending all your credit cards and go crazy on Amazon and so forth? That's the new paradigm that we're living in today. And previously, in the last decade of building apps myself, they used to have these things called environment variables and all this really cool stuff to help you, make sure you have these patterns set up in a engineering like fashion so that, secrets and things don't get exposed today. These are patterns that like big enterprise companies are adopting back in the days to make sure that their credentials and stuff don't leak. And this is a whole different thing that's forming. In today's world with agents, having those patterns set up like we've done before doesn't necessarily mean anything because your open claw can just start reaching in, grabbing those credit cards, grabbing those secret credentials, and start publishing and doing crazy stuff on your behalf. And so in today's world, especially with app building, I want to be more cognizant of that. And I also want you to also be more cognizant of that and try to help find those resources or find those types of people in our industry who are really kind of on that cutting edge and driving those things. And so today's guest I have today with me, her name is Allie Howe, and she's part of this podcast called Insecure Agents and part of this whole team who's trying to peel this whole thing back. And I'm really excited to have you on, Allie, because the paradigms of security are sort of being reshaped in front of us. And the people that you've been telling me about that are coming together to try to figure out this problem from first principles thinking, and the people who are involved in security from way back in the day, including authentication and all these different things, are totally involved and are actively having this discussion. And they're not just vibing it out, they're actually establishing new standards and protocols. So, Allie, thank you so much for joining on the show. Tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you're kind of working on, and some of this stuff that we're sort of fearful because we want to start designing in this new way of using agents for our apps and stuff like that. So excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Allie.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, huge fan of the show, and thank you so much for having me. My name's Allie Howe. I am the host of the Insecure Agents podcast. I'm also a member of technical staff over at Keycard. Keycard is building the identity and auth infrastructure needed to ship secure and trusted agents that have real autonomy, real capability, and security to do actual meaningful work in the enterprise. So yeah, super excited to touch on a multitude of topics today. But what I see as like a current trend and something that's really interesting is this sort of like death to static credentials motion that I think everyone is starting to converge on as an industry standard or alignment around, okay, we have these agents like your OpenClaw, your Hermes, your NanoClaw. We typically are used to giving applications in general like a .env or setting static credentials for like GitHub Actions or setting credentials in Vercel or whatever your platform is. But we're finding out with agents that we can't trust them with these credentials. So I think if you take the railway incident, for example, that happened not too long ago where an entire database was dropped unexpectedly, a developer didn't realize that this credential that was a static credential that the agent was able to find, have access to, had the capability to drop a database. So you need this sort of like a level of understanding around like what this actually means in terms of the power the agents can hold with these static credentials. And then two, like what do we do about these static credentials such that we still are able to give our agents the permissions and the capability that they need to accomplish their task, but nothing beyond that. So I think a lot of people right now are focused on building their own identity gateways and infrastructure to make it so agents have a credential that's issued just in time. So it's not a static credential living in a .env file. And they're also looking at ways to implement policy and governance to say, okay, like I think this agent wants to do this task. Does it match with its mission? Does that match with my goals as an organization? Should this agent, based on the user's permissions, based on the agent's identity, all of these contexts rolled into one, like should this agent be able to make this tool call or execute this bash command, etc. And so we can start to add actual real hard boundaries on top of agents in this way, which is super exciting because I think like last year, we were all super hyped up about like, oh, LLM guardrails, and those are going to save us from prompt injection. And they didn't. They don't work. They really can't be relied on 100% of the time. So we went looking for these like hard boundaries. And so people are starting to converge onto identity and authorization as one of those hard boundaries. And you can start to see this in what's being talked about today. So if we take a look at Browserbase, for example, here, they have an internal agent that they published called BB. And they talked about the different architectural things they had to do in order to be able to confidently ship BB within their internal organization. And one of the things that they developed was this concept of a proxy that is able to understand the user's permissions, and then based on the user's permissions, access a vault for different secrets, and then be able to give that agent in its own like serverless workload where the actual agent does not have access to the credential, perform the tool calls and the actual work in a serverless function, and then return that result back to the agent. So they created their own way to introduce like sort of like RBAC combined with this like credential brokering and this custom proxy that they made. They're not the only ones that are doing this. So I think, for example, you can see additionally in an article that Uber published as well. They sort of converged on the same thing where they were building their own infrastructure to solve what they're calling the like identity crisis here for agents. So their own like their gateway that's doing like authorization, as we're seeing. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of companies here are starting to like reinvent the wheel on this. But I'm really excited about like upcoming industry standards and also work that, like my company Keycard is doing to make this easier so people don't have to like continue to roll their own solutions here.
Yeah, tell us more about Keycard, because I'm very interested in kind of one of the discussions we sort of had on the street. we kind of bumped into each other at one of the Cursor meetups. It was like the Cursor Cafe in San Francisco. And there are some predominant people who are thinking about this too, for like agents, authentication, and all these different patterns. And just kind of curious to hear kind of how some of those folks are thinking about it, because we had like Browserbase, Uber. Is everyone kind of overlapping here, or like what do you feel are some of the common threads that are people are sort of agreeing with? And maybe the last question from there to follow up that would be like, what is everyone sort of disagreeing with and kind of splitting on their ideologies?
Yes, definitely. No, it seems like people are definitely converging on the idea of we can't give our agents, static credentials. Cloudflare wrote a proxy worker that validates access GWTs. Browser-based wrote a serverless integration proxy that holds real credentials and hands the agent short-lived tokens. Ramp, who had that really viral internal AI article they published on X, shipped Glass on Okta SSO with per-skill connections that each user authenticates independently. So we're all sort of converging on this thing of like, okay, agents need short-lived task-scoped credentials based on like the user's permissions. And then for how people are sort of like differing about how to implement this, I think the most sort of topic of discussion around like what people may or may not be agreeing on right now is like the governance and the policy piece of like, how do we write real effective policy that a security team or someone like might go and say like, okay, this is the policy that this agent or this tool is allowed to to do and operate under. But the problem is that your developers actually know more about that agent than like security teams, which is like, this is a culture thing that's gone back as the long tail as old as time in terms of like developers understanding the code better than like maybe security engineers. So there has to be a back and forth and sort of a convergence around what the user, what the developer of the agent, and the security organization within like a larger enterprise all think this agent should do. And then take that, like whatever the convergence is on that, plus whatever the context is around, okay, this is the environment and circumstances this agent is operating under. This is the agent's mission. This is its task. And then like understand, like, can we even trust that content? Because like there's this whole like other tangential problem here of like the context layer has gotten so complicated and polluted, and you can read in untrusted data from so many sources now. So like when you're using this context to make a decision around what my agent can and cannot do, first you have to decide how trustworthy is this like content and context that we're using to actually make this decision. So people's like ways of like how we actually solve that problem practically, I think are very different, and we don't quite have that figured out yet as an industry. So I'll be really interested to learn more about that there.
Interesting. So there's a lot of concerns that people are just kind of really laying out on the table and it's a full range of things. So it's funny because people will speak so confidently about like one specific technique, or like, we just treat the agent like an employee. You're like, okay, that's cool. But employees actually have physical boundaries. Your agents are literally embedded in the actual hardware. They boot up with the system. They're running at the runtime. And so there's all of those things. And if the agent isn't in that same runtime, then the agents can write code to get in that runtime with it. It could somehow, if it finds a credential that's sitting around by accident, or the agent can reach out over Slack to pretend to be like you, then all of a sudden, like a coworker can actually give the key to that agent thinking it's you, like as a human, right? It's like, oh, hi, I'm Sarah. Like, Sarah's currently, she's actually busy right now, or maybe it does take over Sarah's machine. And it's just like, hey, can you just send me this thing? I'm just doing this quick pass for this test. And you're like, sure. I just need 1 hour access or something like that. And just doing a production run they're reading all the context from everything on your machine. So like agents could be sneaky that way. Right. And like those are like one of many examples. And I think these are really, I'm glad that people are having these discussions, because as engineers, it would probably drive me crazy. I'm really glad I'm not one of these, but these are multi-million-dollar problems, right? And I think there's convergence, and I think these folks, like you said, are thinking about, okay, if we just have one token that lives, if we all agree that this is the way that agent has to kind of run in our environments, these are environments that we shape. These are things that we define. This is like a protocol that we've all start to shape, that like the entire system has to run. Then you pretty much just reject everything else that needs to run as an agent. You're like, okay, you're not allowed to do that. But because of the way that they can be part of these systems, it can be really interesting. It kind of reminds me of like the App Store situation with the iPhone. So like, it's kind of a simple protocol. It's like you can't install an app on an iPhone unless it's signed by Apple, right? So in order to do that, you have to like go to the App Store and purchase it. And in order for you to get an app on the Apple's App Store, there's an App Store approval team. So like there's all these different layers and steps. But once it's on the App Store, it can do its thing. And then once the app is actually running on your phone, it's not allowed to go into the system and write stuff in and start changing things. All of that stuff is signed by Apple, and you can't modify that. You can't modify the kernel. You can't modify those pieces that would really, read stuff out of the system. And then there's like hardware layers. So like everything kind of has a layer, and it's, pretty elegantly designed. And I think it's a really interesting pattern. I'm kind of curious to see how that's really going to evolve. And so do you have like events and meetups and different things that you guys are doing as far as like, insecure agents and like, I know you have a podcast where you're talking about this, and would love people to kind of learn some more, because we're just scratching the surface. And if you want to learn more or get involved with this, I feel like you guys, you need to know Allie. Like this is the person that you need to know in the industry right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thanks, Ray, for that. Yes, we are doing lots of events. Insecure Agents is more than just a podcast. It's a community, and we would love for you to come and be a part of it. We are going to need to work together as an industry to figure out the future of AI security, and also what good identity and auth solutions look like for agents as well. You can see some of our like recent episodes here, where we just had the Malte Ubel, the CTO of Vercel, on. He talked about the new like DeepSec harness that they built, which is really interesting feat of like AI engineering in and of itself. And we covered that here. And for example, like they're not using they're not using static credentials here to run their DeepSec harness. So it's really an example of how to actually do that from an engineering perspective. So definitely recommend that. We also covered Fable earlier this week with Alex Stamos, past CISO at Facebook, and Andrew, the CISO at Socket. Talked to a bunch of CISOs, and then notably one I would recommend is this podcast we did with Dick Hardt. He's the creator of Aoth, but is now founding this new protocol called AgentAuth, which is Aoth. And so he's actually going to be here with us during AI Engineer World's Fair on July 1st. He's doing an event with us to bring a very first look about Aoth to the community. We're going to have demos, we're going to have a panel, we're going to have a chance to meet Dick himself, and we're going to evaluate like what are the best practices for AgentAuth today, and then figure out and come together around, what does the future look like in terms of like AgentAuth, why AgentAuth over OAuth. So please go ahead and RSVP to this. This is something you won't want to miss. This is an exclusive first look, but essentially Aoth allows you to run your agents without an API key, which is why it's super exciting to me, because we talked about this problem earlier here today where it's like, okay, we don't want our agents to run with the .env, with static credentials, so how do we actually do that in practice? Aoth is a non-vendor, just a protocol solution to that problem. Aoth also has this concept of the mission built in, so you can understand the intent of the agent and then feed that context about what's its intent into something like an AI runtime solution, like product, like a Keycard or something else, to help those products make better decisions about what an agent is able to do and not do. Aoth also provides richer context on multi-agent delegation change. So for example, to get like really deeply technical for a second, on the ACT claim for OAuth, you'll see a chain when an agent delegates work to another agent. The record of that will just be an array of strings. So it's like, okay, agent A told agent B to do something. And we know agent A and agent B is named by just a textual like string. But with Aoth, you'll have a cryptographic identity assigned to, who is actually agent A, who is B. And so we have this like much richer context to go ahead and start making that decision around what an agent should be able to do, what it shouldn't be able to do, which is another reason why we're partnering with ARM for this event, which is a new standard and framework that the Cloud Security Alliance adopted recently.
Can you give me a link to that? Because that'd be so cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Some folks are definitely asking for it right now, and I want to see if I can get that to them so they can go ahead and sign up. Yeah.
It's aarm.dev.
aarm.dev. Oh, for the Luma event? Whoops. Yeah.
Oh, for the Luma event? Yeah, let's get the Luma event in the chat
Let's
here.
go.
I can throw it in.
Yeah. No, this is super cool stuff. Build with Antonio was asking, and then Gaurissimo was also asking as well. A lot of companies are still allowing users to be the local admin on their workstations. And plus the agents is a huge threat to the landscape. Yeah. Also, other people are asking about stuff in Europe too. I think they're really curious about that whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Let me see if I can put this up. So on the stream here, you'll see I just posted it up. So you'll have the Luma link. It's currently available. I think I put it on the YouTube thing. So you'll be able to click that little Luma link there to take a look at it. And that should basically take you to here, folks. So that way you can kind of get the stuff up and running. And, go ahead and RSVP. This is taking place in San Francisco, July 1st. This is the week of the AI engineer that's taking place in San Francisco. It's like probably one of the biggest AI events. There's be like 6,000 folks from all these parts of the world flying into San Francisco. It is going to be a poppin' week, and definitely go check out Allie Howe and Keycard. Damn, that's amazing. That's so cool. Wow. So they can also just find you on X as well. Just type in VTAHOE, and that's her handle there, and that's how you're able to connect with her on X. I can share that link as well as here. So that this is Allie. She talks a lot about security stuff. If you don't know, definitely the person to follow, the one that's really most connected in the space. This is going to start becoming, and it already is, a hot topic in AI, but it's going to become even more and more as bigger companies. And if you're a CTO in this space, definitely reach out, because you probably have been looking at this, and the folks that she's curating is like some of the top tier creme de la creme in this space. And I feel like you guys should be reaching out to them and, asking more questions and participating in these communities, because this is going to be a bigger thing, and everyone has a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of different ideas that are throwing around here. So I think there's going to be a lot of good that comes from this. I really like these types of efforts, and I'm going to definitely keep my ear onto the ground, and we'll have you back on the show at different times to give us kind of updates and kind of keep us clued in on this, because as app builders myself too, I want to know what the latest, primitives are, like the best practices, how we should be thinking about things, these like static environments, variables. Leaving them around can be dangerous for agents because they can easily grab them just on the go. So it's really interesting. So yeah, Allie,
100%.
thank you so much for getting on the show. Any last notes that you want to share before you head on out here?
No, thank you. Yeah, please continue to follow along, join our community, be part of building the future of AgentAuth and agent security with us together. Would really appreciate your voice added to that conversation. Thank you so much, Ray.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for joining in today, Allie. And for those who want to stick along, I have a like following episode that I'm going to be I'm just going to continue going on. And what I'm going to be covering is going to be around HackZero. So those founders are going to be joining in a couple minutes, and we're going to be talking about like AI security for like high stakes software. And these guys are really, really interesting. And we're going to go into a little bit about like how they're like sending agents and stuff to actually go test and like do a bunch of testing on your sites as well, for like AI defense. And if you have apps that you're worried about for security, they gave me a lot of insights at the actual Cursor Compose event, which were really fascinating in terms of AI agents tend to make the same mistakes and patterns for writing codes because of their training set. So they frequently will leave some backdoors. Maybe it's not, I don't think it's on purpose. It's just the way that they've been trained. And more frequent than not, these guys can probably find them. And most other places haven't really been able to find them as frequently as these guys have been able to. So these are some of the top security folks in Latin America, and they're waiting to join right now. So we're going to get that started in about a minute or two. So Allie, thank you so much for hopping on in, and I'm excited to continue on this live stream, and we'll definitely have you back on the show in like the coming weeks or so, and we'll probably see you at the AI Engineer event as well, because it's going to be a really busy event. So cool. Thanks, Allie.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. I'll catch you later.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. So let me go ahead and see if I can get these guys to pop on the stage real quick. Just give me a second while they're in the green room right now, and I'll get them assigned to the different seats. So yeah, if you guys have been like hanging out with us, this is quite the show. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of going on right now in terms of building with agents, doing the stuff that we're doing for AI, to really understand like, security is kind of a wide space, and a lot of people you start looking this stuff up, you'll start to read fear, you'll read someone who's pitching you on their thing, and it's kind of like, is that the right thing here? But I'm trying to curate some of the best people on this show because, I'm based here in the Bay Area. I also spend a lot of time in Hawaii. I used to be an engineer at Apple for 12 years. So I really want to dig into these topics a little bit more than most people, and want to, ask some of these hard questions. And they come in with some real technical backgrounds. And I feel like these people can really shed a lot of insight for us. And so you have access to them. Yes, this is a live stream. And I actually do want to feature your comments. I didn't get to do a lot of that feature work while I was kind of doing the stream. Any work with open knowledge format for agents talking to each other. I think we'll have some more of those questions and stuff coming up. Only in person. I'm in East Coast. Fly out, bro. Fly out. Now, I think this is going to expand even more. Obviously, AI is going to continue to expand. AI Engineer was taking place in New York. And I think this, a lot of companies are based in San Francisco, but they're quickly expanding to these other places, which is really crazy. So it's always in San Francisco and never DC. I think it's going to change, Justin, especially with this agent security stuff. I think a lot of this stuff is really going to start changing. So yeah, a lot more events are going to be flowing this way. So let me go ahead and see if I can get my next guests on from HackZero. I got them on stage here, primed up. Let me go ahead and see if I can get the screens loaded and get the stuff set up with the name changes and everything here. So gentlemen, this is HackZero AI. Let me go ahead and see if I can introduce you guys. We should go ahead. You can go ahead and unmute, and then I should be able to get your names and stuff all changed up around here. It looks like it's currently frozen, so you might have to call back. So go ahead and try calling back again to see if we can get you back on the screen. It's just a matter of my software right now. I'm having some bugs because I'm currently running on the beta. So I'm going to have them call back again so they can just call back. And then, call back again. And then so that way they can get back on. Can you call back again? And then once they call back, then they'll just be able to get back on screen. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about this thing called HackZero. So let's go ahead and see if I can get them back on. I just did. Oh, snap. Let me toggle this off and on. And then try. Okay, try now. Try now. Okay, so I'm having some issues with my stream stuff right now, and it's okay. I'm going to try to see if I can get them to call back. Because I had this issue last time with my agents, and it's not currently working. But that's the joys of live streaming, and that's okay. And so let me just toggle this back off and on again. Let's see, just did it again. Let me toggle off. Yeah, so I'm having some issues right now with my interview stream, and trying to see if I can get them going. But like while that's kind of coming up right now, let me go ahead and set up this screen here so that we can kind of get this thing going with the proper names and everything too. So let me turn this back on, and I'll get this screen set up correctly with the right names and everything and overlays. So we'll be having that here. Yeah, appreciate everyone's patience with this stuff because, you know, live streaming is fun. All kinds of stuff happen. So let me just toggle it. Okay, turned it back on again. And trying to get them back on again. So it's hello, try now. Okay. So I'll try this now. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I see. My screen's kind of my overlays are all over the place. Okay. It's not coming back. I need a live streaming agent. Yes, that's exactly what I need. Also, I'm kind of kicking myself because I literally just like installed the iOS 27 beta. That's what's killing me right now. I can't do it right now. Let's see. Sorry. Oh, let me see. Sent a photo. Wow. Waiting for a host. Oh man. Okay. So there's no way for me to restart the stream because what I'm trying to do is like I don't see it coming up down below. Ecamm interview. Try this link. Okay. What I'm gonna do is try something really quick. So I'm gonna try something. I don't know if I'm gonna break it. Try this link. Try this link. Okay. Let me just copy this one. Copied. Oh, my paste is not working too. Okay. Oh my God, everything's falling apart. Okay. I have to type this thing out. Guest. Oh no. Okay. I can't. I literally can't. I can't type this in. My copy and paste is broken. Like this is kind of like the funniest thing. It's okay. So what I'm trying to do is like, I'm trying to get my screen up, and what's happening is with like my interview screen, I have a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, and well, I'm streaming, like I literally just hit the button, but like there's a really, really big delay to do stuff. Probably because of the way that I'm kind of running some things here. I'm not sure if they can type it in or if they can paste it, but I'm trying to see if they can kind of join in on the interview. Okay, I got them. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so I think I got it all sorted out. Let's see if I can get you guys loaded to guest one. Okay, cool. I got you back. What's good? Oh no, it's crashing. Oh. Okay, so a lot of my resources right now are just hammered. Let me see if I can just start quitting stuff left and right, because I think I'm just out of memory on my machine. I have a 128 gigabyte laptop, and I am just going badonkers right now with everything. So I literally like can't see anything. You guys are frozen on the screen, and I noticed that my x.com link is just taking up 2 gigs of memory, so I'm just going to go ahead and quit that. I'm going to just force quit it at this point. And then I'm also going to kill some other websites. What other stuff should I start killing? CPU, what's taking up all my CPU? Yeah, because what's weird about this whole thing is that like I'm able to get my screen, but like I'm doing a screen share right now and nothing is showing. And then like I'm doing it this way and things are just really slow to respond. And then you guys are currently frozen on screen. So let me go ahead and see if I can start killing some stuff. Let me kill cursor. Let me kill device simulator. Let me kill a lot more things. Screen sharing, tail scale. Okay. Kill this. Let me see. Yeah, I can't. Have you tried to turn it off again? See, the problem with this though right now is the fact that like once I do this, then it pretty much will kill the stream, which I don't want to do. See, I'm going to kill Claude. Yeah. Siri, maybe it's the new Siri. I see Siri loading up. Force quit. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay. I am. Yeah, let me see if I can have you guys call again. So try calling again. Okay. It's just the joys of live streaming, y'all. It's okay. So I'm going to try to continue to debug my screen because this is just kind of going crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. But we're gonna get this. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out. We're debugging the iOS beta as much as everything is. VTXPC. I might have to kill my decoder service, and that might kill the audio here for a second, and then we'll come back on. So we'll see. Yeah, it's not even picking up anymore. Dang it. A bit. Yeah, I mean, so I got the maxed out machine. You can see I'm running 78 gigs used now. I've cleared out a whole bunch of stuff. I should just force quit Safari, huh? Force quit. I'm just going to quit Chrome. I'm just quitting all of them. I'm, at this point, just kind of desperate. Force quit Pages. Wi-Fi, I have no clue what that is, but do I want to kill it? Right now, yeah, Ecamm. Ask Claude to fix it. I guess so. It could probably do like a sample, like sample Windows Server. You know what Claude would do? It would sample it and it'll say, hey, I should kill this process. And then it would just kill my root process. And then the stream will die. All right, I'm going to kill the decoder service. Let's force quit. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to do this. We're going to see. I'm really just trying to throw everything I can at this problem to see if I can fix this here. So, yeah, I may or may not have audio. Thanks for having me on. Oh, cool. Insecure Agents. Here's our upcoming events. Cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm going to see if I can make you an admin so that way you can post some of the links because I don't think I allow some of the links to be posted. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you, Allie, real quick. So just give me a second. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to revive the stream. And let me see if I can pull up the stream so I can pull up the chat so I can make you, because if you post a link, then because it'll try to like sort of ban you and so forth. Not ban you, but it'll make it so that you can't post. So let me go back to Insecure Agents and I'll make you as a mod, standard moderator. Cool. So you should be a mod now. And so you should be able to post links. So that'd be kind of cool. Insecure Agents, if you can make your Luma virtual, please do. HackZero is pen testing this live software. Possibly. I think so. That's kind of funny. Actually, a really funny point. So let me pop out the chat and let me do that here. So we have this. Okay. So here's what we've got. Nope, not yet. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So let me see if I can turn off. Oh, it says I'm offline with my interview thing. Okay, so now that I'm back on, let me do this screen room thing. Let me go back to Chrome and then X. Oops. Cancel. Let me go back to X. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do for those who are just tuning in right now, we're trying to get the folks on from HackZero. Let's see, try again. Oh man, my pace is not working. Oh, this is so bad. Can you try again? Okay. Yeah. Oh, the beta. I should have rebooted. Dang it. Yeah. Here's our upcoming events. Okay. We have that there. Done. Haha. Dang it. It's not working. Okay. So I hate to do this, but I have to reboot my machine. I think there's no way around this. This sucks. This absolutely sucks. Can I keep a stream open though? Can I keep the stream? Can I do like a BRB? I think I can. Let me go to the YouTube studio because I at least want to keep the YouTube alive, right? That way we can just like BRB and come right back, right? So if I go into this thing, let's see, go live. There's like a little interface here that I can mess with. Yeah. This is a I don't think they're doing this yet. Yeah. Let's see if I can get it here. So it says I'm here. I can insert an ad. I don't want to do that. Create a highlight video. Add. Can I just pause the stream? There's got to be a way to pause the stream. Put it on your phone. No. The stream settings, once you start the stream from a location, that's pretty much it's live. Maybe the stream from the iPhone during the reboot. Yeah, I think it's just much cleaner if I just come back and then like maybe kick off. It'll have to kick off a new stream though. That's what sucks. Yeah. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, this is like the worst ever. Dang it, yo. Yeah, it just says finish. Okay. All right. So, wow. Yeah, okay. I gotta have these guys on stream, and I gotta show you real quick before I reboot, just so that like I can show you what's going on. Let's see here. Safari. HackZero. Yeah, these guys are fire. Like this whole thing that we're gonna do a full-on demo. Let me reboot. I'm gonna come back probably with the same like stream title, and then later on I'll have like a different thing because y'all gotta see this. This is some crazy stuff. These kids are cracked, and I think they're just getting started, and you need to know about them. And like this is some crazy stuff. So yeah, let me reboot my whole machine. I got to come. I unfortunately have to end the stream because like this thing is just kind of dying on me. But when I come back, we're going to be so back. And then what I want to do as a bonus for y'all, because if you stick around for this, I have not yet unboxed the actual cursor compile keyboard. I was supposed to do it last night, but I got so busy last night shipping software, and I gave you guys so much free skills and stuff that it was so fire. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the keyboard from the cursor compile event, because that's just the bonus that I'm going to give you because you guys have been patient, kind of hanging on. So I want you to stay for the stream because these guys are fire. After that, we're going to open this. We're going to unbox this live as a bonus. We're going to putting the keyboard together is a full-on project, like from the base on out. We actually have like the silent switches as well. So these switches are also going to be involved. We got the whole cursor compile bag as well. So like this is the whole swag that we're going to do. So we're going to put that together. I need to hold on, and I need to reboot my machine so that I can get these guys properly on, because y'all need to see these guys. These guys are just like, they're fire. All right. So we're going to get that. And then we're going to get we're going to compile our keyboard together. You're going to see what's going on with this. Everyone heard about the event. They gave everyone a special keyboard. I'm going to put together my special keyboard. You're going to see my configuration. It has the RGB keys and everything, wireless. It's about to be lit. It's about to be crazy lit. And that's if you stay to the end. So that I'm going to reboot the stream, come back. I'll make sure you hit that little bell notification, keep refreshing my page. We'll probably be back in like 3 minutes or something like that. Just however long it takes to reboot my machine, it won't take that long. But we're gonna be coming back, and I got some treats for y'all. I got some treats. It's about to be crazy. It's about to be crazy. We're gonna compile this thing right here. Let's go. What does it say? I think with the hat. Does it say anything on the side? Compile 26. Yeah, we'll be right back. We'll be right back. We're still back, and we'll be right back, fam. All right, peace out, y'all. I'll be right back.